Well, Hillary Clinton blaming misogyny for losing the 2016 presidential election at the Women in the World Summit in New York City last week. Take a listen.
It is fair to say, as you just did, Nick, that certainly misogyny played a role. I mean, that just has to be admitted. And why and what the underlying reasons were is what I'm trying to parse out myself.
Okay, so is that helpful to Democrats as they look to rebuild their struggling party? Here to debate two Democrats who actually disagree on this issue. Fox News political analyst Jamu Green and liberal analyst and publisher of Catalina Magazine, Kathy O'Rourke. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for being here so early.
Good morning.
All right, Jamu, so misogyny. Is that the reason? Is that the #1 reason Hillary Clinton lost the election?
Look, she certainly stated the obvious, that it played a role. We've made a lot of progress in judging women on their merits, but we still live in a culture of misogyny, and we saw that in this past election, where a man who is ambitious and successful is seen as being powerful. A woman who is ambitious and successful is questioned about likability, and that's regardless of if you're seeking political leadership or corporate leadership. All successful women have gone through their lives being subject to being judged at a different, in many ways, a higher and double standard. That happened to Hillary, but there are other reasons that led to the perfect storm.
You're saying that's not the #1 reason that she lost that election, right, Jamu?
Well, I'm agreeing with her. There were other contributing factors. She also said that her campaign could have done better. She could have done better. Of course, there were strategic mistakes that were made, but we do have an opportunity through this process to look at misogyny, and the fact that we're more aware of it, that we're talking about it, that sexual harassment is not as accepted anymore, that consent culture is being discussed. These are good things.
Okay, well, I know both of you are passionate about rebuilding the Democratic Party. I got to tell you, Kathy, I've traveled this country at different diners talking to Democrats, even before this election.
Right.
And when they said they were not voting for Hillary Clinton, I asked them why. And I have to say, no one ever said it was because she was a woman or because of James Comey. Every single time, almost, was that she doesn't inspire me. She didn't have a message that would draw me to the polls.
Well, I don't think men or women are going to admit that they're not voting for Hillary Clinton because she was a woman. But as she said, it does cause concern. People are afraid of women in power. We see that all the time. That's why women are making 80 cents to every man's dollar. People are afraid of strong females. So I think misogyny played a big role. And this country has shown that we are afraid of women in power. Women were not allowed to vote 100 years ago. We haven't even voted for 100 years in this country. Men were able to vote. Black men were able to vote 50 years before women were able to vote. So women have had a problem in this country, and I think that might be a #1 reason. People were afraid of the change. Having a female president was scary to a lot of people.
All right, Jamu, misogyny aside, for Democrats to win again, what were some of the other reasons why Hillary Clinton lost? How can they learn?
Look, certainly the media made it difficult with 24/7 coverage of Trump. There are lots of commentary.
If you could argue that that coverage was pretty negative on Donald Trump.
But there's lots of commentary about the message that Democrats put out, that Hillary Clinton wasn't able to connect from a message standpoint. Well, if the vehicle in which to get your message out isn't letting you talk about your economic message, isn't letting you talk about your criminal justice reform message, isn't letting you talk about your mental health plan, then that contributes to the loss. Now, certainly her message could have been more succinct, it could have been more compelling, it could have connected with the heart first. But look, when it comes to this election, it was a perfect storm, and we cannot dismiss the role that misogyny played. We can't dismiss the role that the media played. We certainly can't dismiss the role that a hostile foreign government played in interfering in our election. All of these things combined.
We're going to have to leave it there this
storm.
morning. Jamu, Kathy, thanks for being with us.
Okay, thank you.
Really appreciate that.